All right, so my family and I just finished 4 nights in Sequoia Kings Canyon National Park. I thought I'd just give a quick review of what we did and what I'd suggest for you, depending on what type of family you are. So we were supposed to spend 6 nights in Azalea, and about a month ago, they canceled our reservation because of record snowfall. And so we ended up getting 2 nights down here in Potwisha, and we're gonna do the extra 4 nights between Joshua Tree and the Redwoods. And then kind of at the last moment, we realized Joshua Tree and Redwoods were not quite as exciting for us, and we really wanted to go back to Sequoia. And so we ended up canceling our time at Potwisha, and we got 4 nights down here at Hume Lake. Now this is in the National Forest and the Giant Sequoia National Monument, not in the park itself, but the distance from here into the park is only about 20 minutes. So yeah, so a couple things I'd recommend. Hume Lake is beautiful and gives you a view into Kings Canyon. This whole scenic byway was closed right at the Hume Junction gate because of record snowfall, so we weren't actually able to go into there at all. So all of this was closed off. And then they also closed off the main road here just south of the museum. So staying in Potwisha would have been kind of useless because we would have had to leave the park, drive up, and re-enter the park over and over again. The park is divided into 2. You can see right here you have Kings Canyon National Park and Sequoia. So this area is Sequoia, this area is Kings Canyon, and this area. The reason it's like that is because after Yosemite and Yellowstone were created, they created the Grant Grove, or the General Grant National Park in this area to protect these trees, and Sequoia National Park down here to protect these trees, but they were 2 separate parks. And then as everything expanded, they eventually joined, but they remained 2 separate parks. Okay, anyway, so the most popular area of the park is around the General Sherman tree, which is the largest tree in the world by volume. It's kind of touristy, and the General Sherman tree is not significantly bigger than other trees. And so when you look at it, you don't get the feeling that you're looking at the largest tree in the world. It's really just for bragging rights, I would say. Not to mention it's fenced off, and there's a long line of people wanting to get pictures. And so if you can pass up on the bragging right to go around telling people you've seen the largest tree in the world, I would consider skipping this or visit it during hours that are not particularly popular. The path to General Sherman from the parking lot is all paved. You could run a wheelchair down it, and it doesn't feel very foresty at all. It feels very touristy. However, from Crescent Meadow, which is one of my favorite areas, all in here you can take trails that are not so touristy. They are more dirt, rooted trails that are much more fun to travel as a family if you're not into the paved stuff like we're not. And we've done the hike from Crescent Meadow to the General Sherman tree. It's about 3 miles. It's excellent. Crescent Meadow is a great place to get intimate with the trees. You can go up to them and touch them and climb on them and go inside of them. We had lunch inside of one once because it was raining, and it feels much more intimate, whereas General Sherman feels like you're looking at the trees from a distance, because you are. Crescent Meadow is a great place to see bear. We saw one last year when we were here, and we saw 2 this time. So very reliable place to see bear. There's also the Eagle View hike, which is right around here, which was breathtaking. Mortal Rock, we also did the hike too. It's very short from the parking lot. It's like 1/8 of a mile, I think. Short and steep. We did it with a 6, 8, and 10-year-old, and that worked out okay, so you don't have to be too afraid of the age of the kids. The other great place is Grant Grove. The General Grant tree itself is behind fencing, and there is some paved areas, but there's also some non-paved areas that are really fun for kids to play in there. We also like Big Stump Grove. There's lots of stumps there that you can climb on and play on. We had breakfast up there. And yeah, Crystal Cave was closed for us. Mineral King was closed for us. Cedar Grove was closed for us, but these road closures also meant that the park was fairly empty. So we had a lot of places to ourselves without the crowds, which was really great. So if you're a family considering visiting these places, I would sort of recommend to avoid these general super busy areas or visit them off peak time. Grant Grove is a great place to hang out as a family. Lots of stuff to see, lots of places to climb on, and your kids can be kids. Well, I hope that helps, and I hope you enjoy your visit.